Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to you, brothers and sisters. To begin with, to the person that called me uncle outside, we're going to have a word after. I'm Councillor Ismail Uddin, Councillor for Bowling and Barcranes, currently elected as the youngest British Bangladeshi councillor in the UK. I stand before you today to keep it quite brief and quite simple. 9 years ago, you elected a red voice for Bradford West. I want to ask you a few questions. When Starmer announced his unequivocal support for Israel back in November, where was the outrage from the voice of Bradford West? When Starmer made comments about the Bangladeshi community recently, scapegoating an entire community on immigration, where was the outrage for the voice of Bradford West? The very fact that the Labour Party has a lobby, the Friends of Israel, where is the outrage from the voice of Bradford West? 9 years on, when you step out into your community, whether you be elderly or part of the youth,
Thank you very much, Assalamu alaikum. I'm not really sure whether I want to talk about a party that I've left. It's like a bad dream, to be honest with you. So let's talk about the positive things. But it is important to highlight why so many people are turning away from the mainstream parties. It is only the people who have principles, who stand on their morals. Our voice, who feel our hurt, and not just our hurt, but anywhere else in the world where there's injustice, that person feels it and speaks against it. So my advice to you is, don't just sit back and say, I'm going to vote for Muhammad Ali Islam. You speak to one person and you tell them to speak to another person and make a chain reaction.
Like to have someone who's not part of the mainstream parties. Please, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for David Ward.
Thank you very much. And I shan't bore you with a long speech because I can bore you with a short one. I've got years of experience in doing that. It's funny coming in here. Have you been across the M62 towards Manchester? And you know you go past that sign, it's got the red rose on one side and the white one on the other side, and you feel you're going abroad. I feel that when I come across Canal Road. So I do feel in foreign territory at the moment, because I know every single letterbox and every house and every garden and every dog in Bradford East, but this is quite new territory for me. What I do remember, when I used to, my lad many years ago used to come across and train down Thornton Road, do football training down there. I used to come across Brigham and we used to, and I remember coming through in 2012 when Galloway and Imran Hussain were fighting the by-election. What I do remember is how quickly things can to do something. You know, it inspired me to get up and get on and try and make, maybe I do have a contribution still to make. And it really inspired me, and I think that and it definitely helped me in my campaign. I'm not a social media.
You here first, guys. Everyone that uses his track record. I like to review David Outlook version Jeremy Corbyn. I hope you take offence to that, just because how much we have an involvement with local politics we have. No, you don't have an involvement. That's fine. That's it.
This is the man, man.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you everyone for coming out and showing your support here today for Muhammad Ali Islam. I'm standing in Bradford East as the independent candidate, and I hope you can get in touch with your connections, your contacts, your cousins, your friends, your family, and ask them to support me in that battle that I'm having in East. But today, I want to remind you something.
I want to remind you what's been happening over the last 9 months in Gaza. They want you to forget that. They want you to forget what Keir Starmer said on LBC. They want you to forget what he did in Parliament to block the SNP motion calling for an immediate ceasefire.
So much for that, Councillor Talat. Appreciate the resounding and repetitive messaging, the fact that all of us need to come together. Because before we bring up our last speaker, I need to be honest with all of you guys. Politics as a whole, bearing in mind, for as long as democracy has existed, it's not favoured the working class. It really hasn't. All of us here share this common sensibility that we know what's wrong with our area. We've known for a long time all the issues that have existed. But it's up to us to take it upon ourselves to actually do something about that. So our next speaker, our candidate in Bradford West, our councillor in Manningham, someone who won with 4,100 votes. Ladies and gentlemen, make as much noise as you can for Councillor Mohammed Ali.
Ladies and gentlemen of Bradford West, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and Assalamu alaikum to all.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you all for coming out here today. It's an honour and a privilege to stand here before you as the candidate for Bradford West. We stand here today within the Pakistani Community Centre, which gives evidence to one of the many ripple effects of immigrants who have helped build our great city. I don't need to tell you that Bradford was once a northern powerhouse of huge proportions, one of the most prosperous cities in the world. I stand here today in the shadows of Samuel Lister, whose mill built in Manningham towers over our great neighbourhoods. But mills alone do not build great cities. It's the people that do. Bradford invited our parents, our grandparents, our elders who travelled from afar to work and in return give a lifetime of sheer grit and hard work to help build this great city, bringing them with hopes and dreams for a better future. That baton has now been passed because we believe in the collective voice. Let us take inspiration from those before us. Let us remember that even the smallest idea, when nurtured with passion and commitment, can lead to monumental change. Let us commit today to not just dreaming of a better future, but working tirelessly to create it. You see, I see in this crowd the same spirit of innovation and determination that drove the people of Bradford West to success before us. I see teachers who refuse to let our children be left behind. I see healthcare workers who believe in a system where everyone has quality healthcare. I see environmentalists who are fighting for the future of our planet. I see entrepreneurs who are ready to